If it hurts, you ain't breaks, no get you know let us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win it. First you again, we're here for the first May. Can everybody keep it up 6 minutes?
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Man, I mean, these last 3 years have been like instrumental in my development as a young man and maturity. But I found home here and, you know, made a lot of great relationships. Really have enjoyed my time around my teammates and coaches. And it's created like a second home for me. And really this is like my first home. So like I'm a kid from Southern California, and now whenever someone's like, when you going home, I'll be talking about going back to Knoxville. And man, it's a very special place to me. All the emotions haven't really settled in yet.
How would you describe to someone outside what this program was like when you arrived and what it's like now as you leave and play your final home game on Saturday?
I would say when coming to this program, this was a program that when I chose Tennessee, I felt comfortable coming to Tennessee. I felt comfortable. I felt the family environment. I felt everything that I felt like to help me become a better player and become a better person here at Tennessee. Once getting here, you know, you just see in the locker room, you just don't see a lot of the family environment as you do now. And I would say that's really what changed. Is just here, like now in the moment, you see a lot of family culture, a real brotherhood push, like everything is for someone else. So it's just good to see everybody striving and just wanting to see the best for the next person besides you, honestly.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me? Yes, all right.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Dauber's in the house. Good old Nate Pruitt is here. Coach Jay is with us as well. Celebrating a victory, boys. 56 to nothing for the good guys. It may have started just a little bit slow. Twitter, social media may have been freaking out and panicking, but the bottom line is Tennessee went out. They did what they were supposed to do. They dominated 56 to nothing. And oh, by the way, By the way, everything is still ours for the taking. The college football playoff is wide open for Tennessee. Ohio State beat Indiana 38-15. That's the only ranked team that Indiana has played all year long, and they get dominated 38-15. I was sitting there thinking, would that be enough? Well, it doesn't matter because Florida beats Ole Miss 24-17. Tennessee's odds shot up to 70% to make the college football playoff. Well, why is that? Because they still got to go take care of Vanderbilt next week. But you go beat Vanderbilt on the road next week, you are going to the college football playoff. So all those people that are saying, season's over, I'm done, flush it, I'm ready for basketball, go watch basketball. We're going to see if this team can freaking put it together and go win a national championship. I'm going to hit some super chats real quick, and then we're going to talk about this college football playoff. Then we're going to talk about the win over UTEP. Evan Counts for 5 says, if I had known this was going to happen when Kiffin left us, I never would have been so mad about him leaving. We have been on a long journey through the woods to get to where we are at. Tucker White for 5 says, undefeated at Neyland for the second time in 3 years. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Only one loss. Only one loss inside Neyland Stadium the last 3 seasons. We want to talk about whether or not Josh Heupel has what it takes. We got to find a way to win on the road, and we're going to do that next week. Peyton K for 2. Thanks, Florida. Go Vols. Angry Titan for 5. So somewhere upstairs, there's a guy standing out of his wheelchair with an orange mohawk screaming, Go Vols, rest in peace, Big Vol Daddy. Shout out Angry Titan. Also, Backflip Spaghetti drops a hundo. We'll play the clip for this hundo.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Backflip Spaghetti for 100 says, for BVD and family, let's go Vol fam and help. If you missed the tailgate show, if you missed the news, you didn't know Keith Ricker. Most of you guys knew him as Big Vol Daddy, passed away last night. Man, he's been through it. He has been through it, but he is no longer with us. And me and Coach Jay talked a little bit about him in the tailgate show. And the way we kind of wrapped that up was Big Vol Daddy would be pissed if we weren't on here talking Tennessee football tonight. So if you guys want to support his family, first and foremost, man, send some prayers their way. His daughter also started a GoFundMe. I have put that link in the description of this stream. I put that link in the description of the tailgate stream. So if you want to support them and help them with what they're going through, that's one way you can do it. Stevie J with a hundo. I'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Stevie J is a man of his word. He said for every Tennessee win, he would drop a hundo. He says, I'm at the bar. I'm not even going to watch you, Boogie, but I'm a man of my word. Have a great show. Go Vols. Shout out Stevie J. We appreciate you. Paul Lindsay for 50.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Paul Lindsay being very generous, and I let him down. He says, come on in early, Boogie, while the game is still going on. I don't hang out in the chat. I can't handle the emotions in the chat during the game, but we appreciate you, Paul. Thank you for the super chat. David Franklin for 20 says FUGA all day. We appreciate that. Luke Thompson for 2 says door feed, dropping those BVD emojis. I brought the BVD emoji back to the channel, and it will be here forever. So you guys can show the love you have for BVD. Don't believe the hype for 2. Indiana showing America how elite they truly were. Dauber, let's start there, brother. All these people ready to flush it and move on. We got a shot at the college football playoff win. I think we're in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, you don't want to have to rely on other people. You don't want to have to rely on things that are out of your control. But we do need some help. And, you know, first and foremost, we took care of our business in Knoxville today, protected our home turf. Yeah, like you said, started slow, but got it done. Now we're moving on, looking forward to next week at Little Brothers down the road in Neyland West. And, you know, you take care of business there because of the help that we got today. Listen, there's still some games going on right now that could also help us that much more. And you know, you look at where we would fall in the playoff rankings should some more upheaval and chaos happen. You know, you might end up having another game in Knoxville, hosting one of those playoff games. So that's something that you take forward next week. And, you know, you got a job to do. You go out and approach it. You know, Vandy, they're still Vanderbilt. They played some good football this year. They've got a capable quarterback, but it's still Vanderbilt. So, like you said, there's still a lot to play for. All the goals are still on the table. It's just what sucks is how we got to where we are, dropping the Arkansas game and looking the way we've looked at times when we've looked so good at times. I think for me, that's the tell of the story right now. But yeah, I mean, did what you're supposed to do. A couple years ago, you face a team like UTEP, and it's kind of you still got some questions. It started slow, but we took care of business.
Yeah, I agree with that. We did take care of business, man. I think for everybody that was shouting and hollering at first, I think 17 for 23. It's pretty good. I'll take that. Yeah, right. And as far as playoff, man, this is the best thing for Tennessee. It's the best thing we could handle, we could take right now. Like I said, we'll go down and we'll take care of little brother. I'm not going to say it's a easy game or a pushover game, but we need to make sure that we mind our P's and Q's. I was talking one time and I got it mixed up and I said, let's dot our T's and cross our I's. Let's get it all going the way we need to have it, And we don't need another slow start for next week. But I'm glad we had a slow start this week, so we didn't have to have it next week. So I don't see us going and having a bunch of problems. I see us being able to take care of the responsibilities that we're supposed to take care of. And when we get into college football playoff, man, I hope we throw the book at them and we take every shot we can. I hope we do everything we can, because I still see a lot of good coming from this team and a lot of energy coming from this team. And it's just going to be a good thing. What you think, Coach Jay?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of overreacting over the season, right? Like let's look at where we are in reality, right? We're on the cusp of a playoff berth, right? We have a freshman quarterback that has set the freshman record at the University of Tennessee for yards, completion percentage. He left touchdowns off the board, widest margin of victory. And if you want to say he's a redshirt freshman, then guess what? He's sitting number 2 as a sophomore overall at the University of Tennessee as well. And guess what? He's kind of looked mediocre doing it, which gives you the idea of his talent level, guys. And that's what I've been speaking to, right? So start to put some respect on his name. Nico's going to figure it out. Nico's brilliant, right? He's going to be just fine. I realize there's a lot of people crying when the offense isn't perfect 100% of the time. Joel Klatt's over there crying. Coach Rice is consoling him, right? But the defense is what.
First of all, I'm so glad you threw him under the bus, because I was like, he ain't gonna say Coach Rice.
I love you to death, Coach Rice, but I'm going to call out the defense at any opportunity I can. Defense is what it gets done. But guess what Joel Klatt was saying? Coach Rice was saying it last weekend, and I get it. Ole Miss looks great at home. Ole Miss, all of a sudden, you heard Stephen A. saying it. You heard Colin saying it. Oh, Ole Miss is the best team on earth. They're the best team since sliced bread. Guess what? Start putting some respect on the SEC's name, because guess what? You walk into a road game in the SEC, I don't care if the team's 4-6, 5-5, you better tighten up your chin strap or you're going home with an L. That's the bottom line. Start putting some respect on the Southeastern Conference's name. That goes for Vanderbilt too, because they've earned that for probably the first time in a long time. Does that mean I think Vandy's going to beat us? No, but it means, this conference is a bear. You know what I mean? You're not going out there and playing Minnesota and Maryland on your off weeks. You're out there playing Kentucky and fighting them tooth and nail like Texas is. You're out there on the road in a slog fest against Florida. You're out there against an Arkansas team that's playing like they got nothing to lose with a quarterback putting dimes on people and playing with their hair on fire. This conference is not easy. It's not going to be easy moving forward, guys. I'm going to promise you that. So these days of 12-0, of 10-1, and expecting to dance with a pretty short skirt on and looking like the sexiest girl on earth, they are over in the Southeastern Conference. It's going to take gritty. hard-nosed defensive football with complementary offense, good special teams, a good solid coaching staff, and recruiting to move forward in the Southeastern Conference. And once you get in the playoffs, guess what? We're the baddest conference on earth. You're one of the baddest teams on earth. You get us on a neutral site, no telling who's going to walk out of that fist fight on top. Tennessee, you find yourselves now in the first must-win game of the season. Win.
I don't think, Nate mentioned starting slow tonight, obviously in the most boring first quarter in the history of football. And look, man, Tennessee may come out and they may start slow next week, but if you don't think Josh Heupel is going to have this football team ready to go next week against Vanderbilt, I don't know what to tell you. They know what's at stake. They know what's on the line. And, I think, piggybacking off of what Coach Jay just said there, I think the SEC, I think it's only going to get worse because we are just now starting to see the talent gap close because of NIL and because of the transfer portal. Guess what? These teams are only going to get closer. And the beautiful thing is, and I sit here and make fun of myself every week because I think it's hilarious that I thought this expanded college football playoff was going to make college football worse. We are glued to the TV. I have my phone up so I can watch that Florida Ole Miss game. I'm watching the Ohio State score. You know what? I don't care about Big Ten football. I don't care about Ohio State and Indiana and Michigan. I don't care about any of those teams. But dang it, I'm glued to them today because it mattered. And that's what college football, like Coach Jay said, it's been crazy all year long. Anybody can beat anybody. Dauber talking about Vanderbilt. Guess what? That they could beat Tennessee next week. You have to go play. You got to play week in and week out. And that's why, yes, does losing to Arkansas suck? Yes, it sucks because we would be way out in front. We'd be talking SEC championship, but you didn't take care of business. But again, anybody can beat anybody any given week. That's why there's not an undefeated team in the SEC. Period, point blank, end of story.
Here's the thing, though, and since we've kind of kicked off talking about the playoffs and all of that, you look at what came out last week and you look at, Texas's wins. They said quality win against Arkansas, quality win against Vanderbilt. So we go to Nashville next weekend. We beat Vanderbilt.
Not a quality win.
Not a quality win.
And Arkansas is a devastating loss. Yeah, Alabama losing to Vanderbilt is fine. Tennessee losing to Arkansas is devastating. What's
the difference there? That's the question that I have, and that's what I don't understand, what this committee is looking for, because I said it Wednesday. We moved away from the BCS and all the analytics and the computer rankings and all of that, and we've gone back to this system that has the human element in it. But what the hell are they looking for? It's crazy, and like we've just talked about, the SEC is a grind week in and week out, and the parity because of the NIL, because of the transfer portal. You look at all these quarterbacks right now that are finding success in the league. They all came from somewhere else. It's a 1 or 2 year, and Quinn Ewers, where's he going to be next year? Because he's probably not going to the NFL now. Is he going to hang around in Texas? I don't think Sark's going to allow that with Manning sitting there, because one of those guys is going to be out. So, it's somebody's going to get a pretty seasoned quarterback right there, plug and play. And it works out sometimes. It doesn't work out sometimes. Look at Ole Miss.
Let me catch up on some super chats here. We'll keep the conversation rolling. Ethan Dalton for 2. We could still make the SEC championship. Texas in a dogfight. It would take a lot. It would take a lot because Alabama would have to lose. Texas would have to lose. It is a, that's kind of like when we were talking about going to this college football playoff thing. We're talking about all these things, and somebody's like, man, that's a long list. Yeah, only one of those things really needed to happen. And that's why, when Indiana lost, I was like, I don't think it's enough. I think they strategically positioned them in the rankings so that if they lost to Ohio State, the Big Ten the committee, the freaking Michigan AD that's leading that committee, it's like they're going to fight to get 2 Big Ten teams in. Tim Broyle's been a member for 10 months. Appreciate you, Tim. Noah James for 2 years says Nico is my favorite quarterback so far. Guess what? We're just starting to scratch the surface with Nico. Yep. John Mills for 5. Damn Hulu crabbed it out. As we got the safety, didn't get back in until after the last play. GBO, rest in peace, Big Vol Daddy. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Charles Bodman for 20. Slow start, but knew we would get it done. It was a boring first quarter of football. Thank you, Charles. We appreciate the super chat. Brian for 20 says, we in it. Let's go Vols. Man, can we get excited? Like, I feel like we're still not excited.
Great.
It's like, let's go beat Vanderbilt and let's go beat any team that's in front of us. And that's, well, let me hit this real quick, then I'll come back to that. Elizabeth Dixon becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate you, Elizabeth. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, you can fix that. Hit the join button. It's only $1. It helps keep the lights on, especially as we move into the off season. We start talking recruiting. We start doing film breakdowns. We start hopefully having a lot of recruits come on the channel and hang out. Those are a lot of fun. And maybe, just maybe, some of these recruits that we've interviewed that have now played a full season, I don't know, a guy like Braylon Staley, maybe they want to come back on the channel and talk about their first year at the University of Tennessee. We shall see. But you guys make that happen by joining the channel. Only $1. We appreciate the support, Elizabeth. Let's come back to the college football rankings and the Big Ten schemes and scams to try to get these teams in. Dauber brought up a good point, Nate, said that we could host a college football playoff game in that first round. And when you look in front of Tennessee, we're currently 11th, right? And I know a lot of people were like, wait, how are we 11th and not in? Because, well, you got teams that are going to automatically get in for winning their conference. But now that Tennessee will be in, they're ranked 11th. They're going to jump Ole Miss, or they're going to go up to 10th. Do they jump Indiana? I think even if you fight to keep Indiana in, I don't see how you keep them ranked ahead of Tennessee. So does Tennessee go from 11th to 9th? What happens with Notre Dame? Could they jump up to 8th? Could you see them, Nate, hosting a college football playoff after we just sat here to start the show and said we've lost one game in Neyland Stadium in the last 3 years?
Yeah, man, if we host a game in Neyland Stadium, y'all just get ready. It's going to be electric. That's going to be one of the best things, that the opportunities that could fall in our laps is to be able to play at Neyland. Now, I don't know how they'll do that. This is going to be the conspiracy theorist coming out of me. You know, I don't see that the committee would let that happen. I don't know how that goes. It's unfortunate because everybody that's a Tennessee fan, they know we've had a drought of more being laughed at the past years than being talked about in a good manner. And unfortunately, that's what's hurt us. You hear the good about Alabama, you hear the good about Georgia, you hear the good about, so the committee's hearing all the good, and they're picking these teams by their names, by their favorability, if you want to say that, you know. And unfortunate, Tennessee hadn't, besides the last few years, they hadn't had a lot of up in their name. So whenever we get to it, I pray that we do get a game in Neyland Stadium, because we can finally put that respect in the name. And we can make sure that anybody that talks about coming and playing at Tennessee will talk about not just how loud it is, but how bad it is, and how bad the defense was, and how they got stomped out and couldn't get anything going. Because I'm excited about this team, man. I'm excited. I know we had a slow start. I don't want to get off on the tangent on that. I was a little uptight at first, but, you know, that's one quarter. Man, we are 9-2. If we go to this playoffs with the fire after beating Vandy, man, we're going all the way. Okay, we're going all the way. That's all I got.
Coach Shea, any final thoughts on this college football playoff and where we end up, or just final pieces to the puzzle before we jump into UTEP? He's muted. You're muted, bro. I can't wait till Kevin gets that shirt done and I can just hold it up.
Y'all better buy it. Y'all better buy it. Y'all better
just be that.
See,
right
Boogie,
there.
I'm advertising is what you
That's
don't
it.
realize.
That's it.
And the funny thing is, it ain't a bit. This is real life. It happens every time we're in front of the camera. That's why the shirt is going to exist. But now that you're unmuted, Coach, go ahead.
Oh, mercy me. So listen, there's going to be still more shenanigans that happen probably. Like I said, I didn't think it would be chalk. We'll see what goes on in this Colorado game going on. They don't seem to be able to stop Kansas from moving the ball. We'll see if they can slow it down. I still think Arizona State's going to win the Big 12 outright. Kind of on record saying that. And Boogie, if there were ever a week to have missed the Coach Shea gambling segment, good God, I am on fire right now.
Yeah, well,
Like I couldn't lose a game if I tried
your
right
picks.
now.
Give us your picks and where you're at right now.
I had Ohio State parlayed to Tennessee -41. I had Florida on the money line for the win for half a unit. I had Kansas covering the big number. I had Arizona winning outright. I have Boise State covering the number tonight. If you're looking for a night play, that was kind of my strong night. play, but I loved a couple things in the morning. So gosh dang it. Once again, we'll see what goes on this Colorado game. Still a lot of football to play. So you're going to see BYU most likely right now get bounced deep out of there. If Colorado gets bounced deep out of there, you're talking about a Big 12 champion that's probably ranked 14th at the highest. Should make for an interesting thing. You know, what's going to happen in Notre Dame and Army tonight? What's going to happen next week and when they travel to USC? What's going to happen when Texas plays Texas A&M? What's going to happen in the championship games? And I'm not saying, I know there's a debate right now on, you know, what's going to happen in these, you know, conference championships if a team wins and loses. And I think regardless if the committee holds it against a team so much to bounce them from it, I 100% could see it holding against the team by dropping them just enough to where it hurts them in their jockeying for position in the playoffs situation. So, you know, how does that happen? What does the path for Tennessee, you know, look like? That whole thing, all this matters, all this, your draw is going to count, you know, yeah. But, you know, one thing is for sure, this team is kind of right on par where we thought they would be at. We knew there'd be growing pains for Nico. There has been. It hasn't been perfect, like I said. But once again, I've watched Nico play a long time. He will continue getting better. Anyone judging Nico based on this season alone, and that goes from me spouting about him having freshman records. That goes for people in the chat who think he's Jared Guarantano. The truth of the matter is, you know, Nico's going to continue to grow and get better. And no matter what you think of him now, will not be who he ends up as a finished product. No one ever is. People tend to degress or get better as time goes on, and you would certainly expect that out of Nico, not to kind of flatline as he moves on throughout his career. That would be abnormal for any college quarterback. So anyone sticking their flag and saying it's a done deal in the ground certainly is showing that they're a little new to college football and a little casual to the truth of the matter.
Let me catch up on a couple of super chats, and we're just going to jump right into the UTEP game. It was way too important, man, to talk about the college football playoffs. And yes, we understand you got to go beat Vanderbilt, and we're going to be back to business as usual this week. I got to check the schedule, man. I got to check the schedule. I don't know. I got to see. I was going to move EA Sports College Football Night to Thursday, but probably a bad idea to stream on Thanksgiving night. So I'll look at the schedule and see. I don't know, man. Tuesdays are kind of fun though too, because I'm playing the game. We're hanging out, we're talking, and the rankings come in. So we'll keep it business as usual. We'll keep the Tuesday night show the way it is, but come hang out in the chat, man, because as the rankings come in, we talk about it in the chat. It's always a good time. Some people take showers and want me to call out the rankings so they don't miss anything. That's just allegedly what happens on Tuesday nights. Donovan is in the house. What's up, brother? He dropped a $5 super chat, says, Nico the GOAT, take care of Candy. We are hosting a home playoff game. Let's go. 3 weeks off with rest. I love our chances to advance. Man, I'm ready. I'm freaking so. I feel like some of us had this belief and some of us didn't. And I feel like I've got a new life, man. Jay Carter for 20. That's a very generous super chat. We appreciate you, brother. Said, sorry, boys, my victory 50 to Big Vol Daddy, GBO. Yeah, go show him some love. Support his family. The link to the GoFundMe is in the description of this video. You know, I love the comment from Amy Totten saying that Big Vol Daddy is standing outside of his wheelchair celebrating the Tennessee win. That fires me up. But if you could see the look on his face right now, watching Talkin VAWLS from up above and saying, Boogie, that super chatting me now, brother. He is celebrating these super chats coming in his name. He would eat that up. So keep supporting his family and keep praying for him, man, because they're going to need it. As it's the timing, man, going into Thanksgiving, going into the holidays, going into Christmas. It's going to be tough on his daughter, on his family. So just keep them in your thoughts and prayers for sure. Let's talk about this UTEP game. If you haven't done so yet, help us out and smash the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Share it out. Let people know we're live talking Tennessee, UTEP, college football playoff, all of that. Let's do our quick. Let's remember opening comments. We're starting opening comments 30 minutes into the show. Good old Nate Pruitt. We'll give you all the meat on the bone. Opening comments on the win over UTEP.
Opening comments. We've already said first quarter was it was nasty. It was not pretty. I was honestly worried, and Coach Jay, maybe you can elaborate a little more on this. I was worried. I started seeing Nico little off on the timing, little off on some of the decision making, and it kind of had me startled for a minute, especially after he took another hit. I was worried if there wasn't a little lingering effect going on. Not speculating anything, just curious, you know. But as time went on, man, he started developing. He started getting in the flow of things, and sometimes that's what it takes, is getting in the flow. And it seemed like the team got in the flow of things. So, man, we went out, we took care of business, and it was ugly at first, but then it was beautiful at the end. I loved being able to see all the different touchdowns. We got four passing touchdowns, and I can't remember how many of the rushing. I think 3, or maybe even 4 of those. But anyways, it was great to see everybody get the chance to shine tonight and or today. And man, it's another win, 9-2. It's great stuff.
Isn't that hard to say day? Like I was saying night in the back live, because that's all we do is do post-game shows at 2:00 in the morning.
I know, right?
So, yeah, it's so hard to say the day. Look, it's funny because going into this thing, I said it's a glorified scrimmage. I think Ron the Don called it a glorified scrimmage in the tailgate show, and people yelled at him for it. Timmy, by the way, I saw your message that you unsent. You unsent a message, bro. You messaged me and said, "What's this about a glorified scrimmage?" And then you unsent it. That tells me that you know you were wrong. And I love you, Timmy. I love you. But there's a reason you unsent that message that said, "What about this glorified scrimmage?" Look,
listen, Coach. Listen, let me talk on that really quick, Coach Rice. I know. Look, Coach Rice, when you watch this, I know I gave you a little crap earlier because I love you, but Coach Rice knows his football really, really, really well. And he's dead on about a lot of things he said about this offense. I said as much when I disagreed with him the other night.
It was a great Wednesday night show, by the way.
Yeah, it was, because both arguments had substance. That's why, right? That's why we all enjoyed it so much, I think, is because both arguments had a lot of truth mixed into them and came from different perspectives. But Coach Rice in his pregame that Boogie releases on Friday, talked about the importance of not walking in there with a hangover because it's UTEP and you've just gone through the brutality that is the SEC schedule. You could see that, right? You could see the hangover from the Georgia game. You could see them flat-footed. You could see them wanting to rest people. One of my first notes on this game, and I know we haven't gotten into it, is we had scrubbed out certain players on the first series of the first drive on defense. We were trying to rest people, and certainly flat-footed from the beginning. It took us a second, a whole quarter really, to wake up, which is not ideal. It's not what you want. You want to come out firing and blow a team like UTEP away. We've been begging for 4 complete quarters from Tennessee. We got 3 today. Even in the first 4 games when we were beating teams 73-0, you still only got a half of football out of Tennessee in those games. I thought this was the first time we put together 3 quarters. I could understand why people were frustrated at first, but from a reality standpoint, from a football standpoint, it's something totally expected for a team to walk out there flat-footed at the start of the game, and why Coach Rice was so aptly warning the team against doing so. Luckily, they were just so good they were able to overcome it,
It was the most boring quarter of football in the history of football across the board. It was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. Here were the drives for both teams: 5 punts, an interception, and a missed field goal. And it's 0-0. Tennessee had 37 yards of total offense. Nico was 3 of 7 with 27 yards. But let me tell you this, man. He hit that screen to Dylan Sampson, went for 13 yards right before the half. First of all, I love the play call. Can we get more of that, please? Can we get more halfback screens? I don't understand why Josh Heupel doesn't do that. And then clearly it's in the playbook. And I was like, maybe that'll give Nico a little spark here. And I tracked it for a while and then I gave up on it. But for the next 3 to 4 drives, Nico didn't miss a throw. The only incompletion he had for 3, 4, 5 drives was spiking the ball. to stop the clock. That went down as an incompletion. Other than that, he was dang near flawless for a certain period of time. Dauber, what are your opening thoughts on the win over UTEP? You enjoy that first quarter? I'm sure you did.
Man, it was hard watch. Did what you had to do. You know, it like so many of the other games, we've had that kind of period where we're stagnant and just not clicking. But it finally started clicking. You end the day averaging 6 yards a rush, 7 yards a pass. So when you're picking up, you know, that much yardage a play, that's pretty good day offensively. The big thing that stuck out to me, I know Coach Jay was kind of dogging the defense and saying they're a little tired, but we've talked about it all year long. Going into the season, it was not necessarily a point of concern. It was just an unknown for me, and that's the guys on the corners. But McCoy and Gibson, man, those two guys are.
Oh, good God!
They are.
Gosh,
man. They're special, and you know, it's going to be really, really awesome to see if they continue to develop and grow. And you know, I really think they'll both be elite lockdown guys. And this secondary, you know, everybody wanted to, and I don't know how much Willie Martinez had to do with this, but
you said me and you could coach up those DBs.
I mean, I'm saying they're dudes, and they're getting it done. I'm just excited to see them continue that trajectory and that level of play. But you know, I'm still waiting on Boo to give one more shimmy and shake and break one. But I tell you, that's something else that I think you get into this playoff, and it's about peaking at the right time. It's about clicking at the right time, putting everything together. But one of the things also, when you get to, you know, the 12 teams in the playoff, something that can make a big difference is special teams. And Tennessee on special teams, you know, they've had flashes of it every game. And I think Eckler does a heck of a job coaching them up. And you got guys like Boo. You know, we talked about Gilbert getting his swag back after the Kentucky game. And, you know, I think it's a big extra that doesn't get talked about a whole lot is special teams. And that can be the difference in a game, especially when you get into a tight game against a really good opponent. And if you look at how this team has played this year offensively, points have kind of been hard to come by at times. So that special teams can bail you out. So
that one punt return he was dragging the entire team. I was like, Boo, he does not want to be denied.
Yeah.
He did muff the punt, which makes me wonder if it's pros and cons, right? It's almost like the coaching staff looked at him and said, he is electric with the ball in his hands, but he's aggressive and he may cost us. And it finally got to the point where they're like, we got to put Boo out there. Like one of the big notes for me was field position, man. Boo played a big part in that. And I get it. It's a blowout. It's UTEP. You took care of business. But Jackson Ross striking the Heisman, that dude was money. I almost said tonight, Nate. He was money today. Boo Carter in the return game, but then also this defense setting up short fields for the offense the entire afternoon. You were 8 for 8 in the red zone at one point. I don't know how they finished it out, but we had 4 scoring drives, 4 that went for less than 45 yards. 36, 19, 3, and 44. That speaks volumes about the defense and special teams. I cut you off, Coach Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to speak to what you were saying. Special teams are huge. Look what happened to Indiana today. You know, that really, really hurt Indiana. Now, do I think Indiana would have won that game anyway? No. Heck no, I don't. But it just goes to show you, you know, when you're in a tough fight and you need those little things, special teams can be everything to a team. We've seen how big it's been at Tennessee. You only really have to think back to the A&M game last year and to a big D. Williams punt return, you know, to kind of punctuate that point. So yeah, special teams are just gigantic. We'll continue to need them moving forward. But Boo Carter, man, he's electric with the ball in his hands, huh? And fun to watch. So if he can secure that ball, he's going to be great. That's all I got to say.
I can't remember. It might have been when I was on with Kaner, or it may have been off air talking to Kaner. I don't think you were there, Coach Jay, when I talked about it, but talking about Boo Carter being electric, I went back to when we did the film breakdown on him, and you were like, hey, I'm going to break down X amount of plays on defense, X amount of plays at running back, X amount of plays at wide receiver. I don't know if you remember that breakdown. Every time you did a position, I was like, we got to play him at safety. We've got to play him at wide receiver. We've got to play him at running back. And it's like, he is so good with the football in his hands. Let me catch up with you guys on Super Chats. Noah James for 5 says, just because a cobra is a baby doesn't mean it can't kill you. I don't even know what that's in reference to. Is he talking about Nico?
Nico, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a spirited debate going on in the chat.
Yeah,
which
I wish
is awesome
you guys
to
would
watch,
be...
guys. You go at it. Be respectful.
Yes,
always be respectful,
civil.
and try to always. I disagree with Michael, but I do agree with one thing he said with ad hominem attacks. Always try to attack ideas, not people. Let's remember that. Like, I think Michael's idea is really stupid, but I don't think he's stupid. I think he's a passionate fan with a strong opinion. So let's keep it civil.
And he's been a part of this community for a long time. He's not a fake fan. He's not a troll. He is a part of this community that has a differing opinion than you. So just be respectful and stop going at each other and just debate the point, like Coach Jay just said. Sean Cross for 5 says, sorry to hear about Big Vol Daddy. Wasn't he the OG of Vol 2? He's the longest Tennessee YouTuber that I know of. Like, he's been doing it a long time. Tyler Maxwell for 5 says, playoffs go through Nashville. Rocky Top has a shot now, and others can still help us out. Go Big Orange. Let's root them on over the hump. Let's go beat Vanderbilt, and let's hope for more chaos so we continue to jump these rankings and we get a freaking home game. That is what we need to root for now. Evan counts for 50.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Evan, I love this comment. At least the first sentence. I didn't read the whole thing. Hopefully he doesn't contradict what my thought process here. Wish Coach Josh Heupel would start Nico out like a golfer on the range by starting out with the chip shots to help dial in accuracy, and then by moving on to the woods and drivers, let Nico hit those screens early, dial in the accuracy, then hit the big plays. I think that is spot on, because I thought that too. I felt like they were coming out and trying to make that big play early. Now, look, the throw to Squirrel, first play of the game,
terrible.
That's not that difficult of a throw, right?
No.
And then second drive, he sailed one over Bruce's head. Also on that drive, I felt like
did Bruce stop running on that play? And I thought it was overthrown either way. Let me just say that. Let me lead with that. It looked like Bruce stopped, but I still thought it would have been overthrown. That's it.
Well, and that's always talking points with everything, right? The seam route.
Yeah.
Did Squirrel pinch the seam route in too much? And so Nico, that was a miscommunication. We don't ever know that, but gosh, that seam route was frustrating. I felt like he got happy feet on that second drive. But again, he sat in the pocket forever. Nobody's open. And then he kind of rushed the check down to Dylan Sampson. Bad throw there. Third drive, that's when you're on your own 8 and you try to take that deep shot to Brew. It's a touchdown. Look, you're never going to hit every one of those, though, right? You're never going to hit every one of those. Here's my thing about Nico. I love Nico. I think he is the future. I think he played a really good game after he settled down. I wish there was more consistency. What is baffling to me is to see him make these throws that 1% of the 1% can make, and then when it just seems like it's easy pitch and catch, I'm like, Nico, come on, bro, come on. But again,
have you ever seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, where like Butch Cassidy like tries out for the bank robber like protector, and he like shoots his gun and he misses it, and then he goes, can I like move? And the guy's like, can I what? And he like rolls on the ground and then hits the cup 4 times, spins it in the air and shoots it. And he's like, I'm better when I move. That's what it almost reminds you of. Like, and speaking of golfer, why we're on the topic of golf, can we get a golf clap instead of a gator chomp if we root for our enemies, guys? Like, we don't need to be gator chomping. A simple
The only
golf
way I
clap
will allow it
will
is if you
do.
use the Jalen Wright gif where he does the Gator chomp. I will allow that because there's the throat
Okay.
slash at the end. I will allow that one. I just wish Nico would be more consistent. But look how he finished today, man. 17 of 23, 209 yards and 4 touchdowns. And you're not happy with that.
Beautiful.
I get it. He didn't throw for 500 yards. But what did I just say about the defense like 10 minutes ago? It's because they had a short field all day long. Yes, I get it. It's frustrating when he misses the deep shots that are wide open, but he's still making NFL level throws, man. NFL level throws. Let me catch up real quick. Luke Thompson for 5. How does Heupel improve on his road record? Coach Jay, do you want to just kick everybody off and let Coach take the show? I'll do that. What do coaches have to change to improve on the road in general? That's a good question because I don't know the answer. So if Coach Jay's got a magical answer, we'll send it over to Coach Hype and hopefully we can get this thing fixed.
God, I feel like this is a loaded question to a degree because I think Tennessee's got to clean up how they play on the road, just execution-wise overall. Penalties are a big part of that, and I'm not even trying to point fingers at refs. There's plenty of times where it's been self-inflicted over the past 3 years. We have to start playing clean football on the road in order to win games. We have to take care of the football in order to win games on the road, and you have to play complete football games. Those are kind of the 3 things that I feel like are hampering Tennessee on the road. One thing I thought that was really hampering us before was defensive play. But for the most part, we cleaned that up. Yeah, we had a bad half of football in the Georgia game defensively, but for the most part, defense has cleaned that up. But execution on the road has just not been good from a schematical standpoint, offense or defense, and the defenses look lost at times at the road. I don't know if that's why Tim Banks is dialing back the pressure. It's just a communication issue, but I'd like to say is play a little more free on the road at home defensively still, and then the penalties are just going to beat you every single time on the road, whether they're self-inflicted or whether they're a bad call.
Jeff Clabo for 10, appreciate that. Says Nico to Matthews, drops those orange emojis. Man, I wish you would have caught that 50-50 ball in the end zone. Oh, that's the type of play. And it look, as soon as he dropped it, I said, is this why he's not getting on the field? Is this something they're seeing in practice? And I love Mike Matthews, and I think his future's bright. But is that part of it? We don't know. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but it was good to see Mike Matthews out there making plays. Paul Lindsay for another 10 says, good place to be in. Get out of the SEC where they eat each other. We will beat anybody else out there. Got my old jersey on today, the one I wore when Webb got 296. D-Samp can do that. D-Samp for 300. Yeah, Dylan Sampson needs, 121 yards. 121 yards next week to get that Travis Stevens single season rushing record, which was set in 2001. How crazy is that? Dim Barnyard builds for 2. Is Cam Seldon going or staying? Hope he stays. I love the way he ran the football today.
Dude, that was great.
He ran with physicality and violence. Look, I told you when I said all that stuff about Cam Seldon, I told you guys 10 full hat. I've got no information. I just was speculating on it.
I think he's been banged up.
I don't know if he's been banged up now, and maybe he has, but I think him being banged up set him behind to where he should have been. Right. So when Deshaun Bishop kind of capitalized, you didn't see Cam Seldon, and then now Peyton Lewis looked good, man.
Yeah.
We want to talk about recruiting at running back and how Josh Heupel can't recruit running. We got a pretty dang good running back room right now. I'm pretty happy with what they've done. Tyler Steele for 2 says, what about David Sanders going to Ohio State? We talked about this on the tailgate show. If you missed it, David Sanders did take a visit to Ohio State. We kind of broke it down. Is there a reason to be concerned? 100% there's reason to be concerned. Austin Price reported that it seemed to be agent related, and he said it wasn't necessarily a dollar sign deal, but what I can't remember the phrase I used. It was other nonsense involved, NIL related, but definitely seems to be like an agent type of deal, push for NIL stuff. You should be concerned. But I think Tennessee still has the opportunity to keep David Sanders.
Look at the situation with the Michigan quarterback that just decommitted from LSU. Right? The whole story was they offered him $11 million. Right? And every article I read personally after that was $11 million wasn't enough for Underwood. How much will it take? Well, guess what? Michigan answered that question. I don't know what that number is, but they certainly answered it. So there's going to be jockeying on this NIL, guys. It's free agency out there, whether you like it, I like it, Nate likes it, Dauber likes it, Boogie likes it, or not, right? That's going to be part of it. If it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. And let's face it, football is a violent game. Nothing is guaranteed. And if you had a chance, any one of us in here, me included, had a chance to make sure your family was okay forever moving forward, would you not do so? I mean, I would expect you to.
I also think the way LSU is trending had something to do with that.
Sure, it all plays a part, but you're foolish to think of money doesn't. You know what I mean?
Money talks.
Have a big part of it.
Yep,
Yeah.
If somebody hit you up and said, I know Boogie's paying for your Mercedes, Coach Jay, but I got a yacht, I got a mansion. You kick Boogie to the curb, you can have it. You can go entertain that.
Put Coach Rice's comment up.
I was going to make
him in here all day.
I was going to make him pay for it, Coach Jay.
Make him pay $10, Coach Rice. So, like I said, Coach, I don't know if you were in here earlier, but I was giving you and Joel Klatt a bit of a hard time. But I agree 100% with this line. Nico has to be more consistent. He can make a lot of these throws in his sleep. Now, can you expect a quarterback to be perfect? No. Look at Jackson Dart. Look at
Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker missed deep shots.
Hendon Hooker, like I said, had like 2 picks and 2 fumbles in the Georgia game when it was a tight game early. It's going to be, you need. Bottom line is this: forget Hendon Hooker, forget anyone. Nico's got to be more consistent. I think we all can agree on that. I am on that same page. I know Coach Rice is. I know everyone in this room. The wide receivers,
offensive line.
They all have to be more consistent. And I think the key to this team, no matter what, moving forward for the rest of the year and certainly for next year, is going to be finding consistency. Go ahead, Dauber. Sorry to cut you off.
I was going to say, you look at Coach Heupel coming off the field at halftime when he was asked about, the offense and finally getting going. And he said, man, it takes all 11 executing at the same time. And that's what we've said all year long. And if you don't think that this coaching staff doesn't recognize that, it is the penalties. And tonight you were 7 penalties for 60 yards. And there were a couple that came at inopportune times. And that is, Coach Jay alluded to it. It's either, sometimes a questionable call or sometimes us shooting ourselves in the foot. But we are getting to the point where, those penalties, they don't kill us as bad as they did a couple of years ago. But they kill drives, and that drives kill momentum. And that's what we're trying to put together 4 quarters of football here. So that's what, I said Wednesday, it's not just the execution, it's the consistency of execution across a 4-quarter game. And that's where we need improvement. There were, I think, 2 defensive offsides tonight. That loomed big last week in Athens. That's those things you can't have, especially on the road, especially against a good team. And to, I think Nate said last week, what do you want to see going against UTEP today? A clean game. And with a slow start, with some of these things that we've seen consistently be issues all year long, I don't think it was necessarily a super clean game, but it's also one of those games where you can look and see, okay, well, Nico played pretty good. Boogie talked short field a lot of times. So you're not going to put up a ton of yardage. You had guys that, Bruce stepped up, got 2 touchdowns. He's not found the end zone yet this year. So that was good for him to get in. A couple games left. Maybe that gets him rolling. It's those little things. And you've got to piece it together and build on it And I know we're 11 games into the season, but you've still got to build on it. And I said earlier, the playoffs are about getting hot at the right time, about peaking at the right time, and about continuing to improve and eliminate your mistakes. And I'll tell you, if this team can do that, if they can put together a complete game on both sides of the ball, boys, this team is special. They've got dudes all through the roster. And they're liable to sneak up on somebody.
I think if the defense shows up and plays like the defense can play, we can be mediocre on offense, and we can still go win games. We can still go win we can go win a national championship if this defense shows up and plays the way they played, Nate.
It was kind of to Dauber's point, it made me think about it. As emotional as we get as fans, if you've played it, if you've coached it, or if you've just been really deep around it, players are just as emotional when it comes to these games, when it comes to game time moments. And man, when you get those penalties, their emotions are up here. They're ready to go take somebody's head off. But the more you get them penalties, the more it sets back and it starts getting lower and it starts getting lower. And now their mentality, the emotion affects the mentality. And then once you get into the mentality of, man, I'm messing up, or man, why are we doing this? It starts to have a draining effect on the team. And it's not just we look at it and we say, oh, why can't they do that? Well, there's a lot of stuff that goes in the mental state of the players and what they're thinking about, how they're having to play. And then not just having to do that, but then they realize themselves that they're getting into a deeper hole. So they have to work themselves back out of it. And back to what you said, Dauber, man, it goes into all 11. Everybody has to get in there. Everybody has to play with 100% effort. And we do that, like, Boogie, you're talking about the defense, man. If we could get the whole team on the mentality of that defense, my Lord, there's nothing that there's no team out there that I believe that could stop us. And if we have the chance to play, and there may not be a lot of people that agree with me on this. Y'all were talking earlier, I just didn't get a chance to do it. I believe in the post pregame. Y'all were asking who you would like to play. If we're playing at Neyland, I wouldn't care who it is. I want the biggest and the baddest joker to come to Neyland, and I want us to take them out.
I think if the Georgia game had been in Neyland, I get
completely
people
different.
act like it was a blowout game and that because it was a 2-score game. That's a 1-score game late in the game, and Tennessee did not put. That's what Tennessee did not put together a full game against Georgia, and they had the football with like 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter with a chance to tie the football game. Like, they can play with anybody in the country. But yeah, I agree, Nate. If we get that, please give me. Yeah, y'all. We always talk about hypotheticals. People drop super chats and ask hypothetical questions, and it's like, well, I have no idea. And it's like, well, Boogie, would you rather win out and go to the SEC championship game, or would you rather lose a game, win out, get into the playoff, and we get to host a game? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. But now that we're here, yeah, let's host a game inside Neyland Stadium. Penn State losing right now. Somebody said they lost. There's still a ton of time in that football game. Minnesota up by 3, 10 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Yeah, you got a lot of football. But again, when you look at the college football playoff rankings, you look at Notre Dame still has to play USC. They still have to play Army. They can drop another game.
Mamba
the fact
shoes.
that there are so many things that could happen in Tennessee jump in those rankings to get to host a game. We'll see how the next week plays out. First and foremost, you better go beat Vanderbilt. Timothy McGee for 5 says maybe they need a salary cap, and NIL should be more of a production than what they do in a 7-man football or high school. I definitely do think they need some type of salary cap. You got to rein it in. But I think it benefits us, boys. I think it's going to benefit schools like Ohio State and some of these other programs that have big wallets, Texas school, oil money, but I think it benefits us, and it's going to help us get back to where we are.
NIL and the transfer portal has accelerated our
100%.
turnaround.
100%.
And the way that Coach Heupel and staff have approached it and dealt with it has been top notch. And that goes out. Spire Sports was the forefront of the NIL stuff, way ahead of the game in a lot. And I think the things you hear, aside from maybe one instance in the locker room prior to a trip to Columbia, South Carolina, NIL isn't, a problem within the locker room in Knoxville.
We are all caught up on Super Chats. We have talked college football playoff. We will be back tomorrow morning with the day after video. We'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time with a fan call-in show. We're going to get some final thoughts from the boys here, but I need you guys to help support the channel, man. Smash the thumbs up, share out the link, let people know this is the place to be. We are here to talk Tennessee football. I know we talked grand scheme of things. We talked a little bit of Florida, a little bit of Big Ten football because it impacts Tennessee, but if this is where you want to be, this is the place to be for Tennessee football. Show some love, man. Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Grab some merchandise. We've got clean logo shirts. We got the good old Nate Pruitt. I should have named it the Nate Pruitt special. I should have done. We got the Nate Pruitt special. God bless and go Vols. We got rivalry shirts, all kinds of fun stuff. Go check it out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's in the description below. If you order within the next couple of weeks, you'll have it on your doorstep by Christmas morning. By a loved one. What screams Tennessee fan like a shirt that says FUGA? And you guys talked me into it. I don't even know what it means, but we sell it. So give that to your grandmother. Imagine your grandmother. She's been a fan of Tennessee for so long. She opens a present. She has no idea what Talkin VAWLS is. She has no idea who we are, but it says FUGA. I bet your grandmother would love that shirt, or if not, get her a Buck Fama shirt. I imagine the look on Granny's face on Christmas morning if she opens a shirt that says Buck Fama. I bet you anything she would love it. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, think about hitting that join button. $1. That's all we ask. $1. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. But if not, just smash the thumbs up because that's easy and it's free and it does help the channel. Captain Woodland for 5 just got back to the car. Awesome time in Neyland. Glad to see Brew go off. GBO, glad you enjoyed the game. Glad to see Brew go off too. Luke Thomas for 2. Do you have a camo hoodie boogie on your site? No, we don't, because it's bonfire.com. So they control everything. But I will say we've been with Bonfire for a long time. They're adding more and more and more options. I know some of you guys are asking about youth sizes. That's something I need to look into. But they're adding a whole lot more stuff. Captain Woodland said, rep Talkin VAWLS merch. Got a lot of compliments. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you repping the brand down there inside of Neyland Stadium. Coach Jay, final thoughts on the win over UTEP and just moving ahead. Tie a big fat bow on it. And, of course, you are muted.
Yep. First off, you got to stay muted at all times. No. Final thought, we need to get better. We need to keep getting better. Look, it's a never a finished product. We need more consistency, as talked about on offense. We need to keep driving. Coach Rice ain't wrong. We need to put up more than 28 points to give ourselves a good shot in the college football playoffs. We need to give this defense help because they have played a long season, because they have, fought tooth and nail to get us a lot of the way here. So we need to keep getting better. We need to keep playing with more consistency. We put together 3 quarters. Let's put together 4 next week. Let's go out there. Let's get a big, big win. And at the same time, root for a little help on a nice, clear path. That's it, man. Go Big Orange. Go Big Orange.
Nate, final thoughts, brother.
Man, we'll go and take care of clean up what issues we had this week. Let's go take care of little brother over in Vandy, and that way all 140 of their fans don't have to storm the field. So let's just let's go ahead and take care of business. Let's go get the win. Let's get in for the college football playoff, and let's just boost our chances, man. Anything can help. I think everything landed out the way that it needed to this year. I would have much rather had the loss to Arkansas versus a loss to UTEP today. So I would have that.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. That I think everything's playing out in a great fashion. Man, clean up the small issues. Let them stay small issues. Don't let them become big issues. Cool off as fans. Everything's all right. We're 9-2. We're going to keep on going.
I love Tip Jackson, and Tip Jackson's not in the chat tonight, so maybe he hates me now, and he'll roll around the YouTube space telling people how I'm a jerk and I'm mean and I'm a bully. But if you comment on my timeline, I'm going to respond to it. He was mad at Tim Banks. There's a 0. There's a goose egg on the scoreboard. He was mad at Tim Banks when the broadcast was just talking about how they're 8th in the country in scoring defense. We are sitting here at 9-2, about to go to the college football playoff when we go beat up on little brother Vanderbilt, and that is because of this Tim Banks defense. Point blank, no questions asked. Yes, Dylan Sampson's been great. We are living with this defense. Dauber, tie a big fat bow on it.
I said at the top of the show, my opening thoughts, we took care of business. We're about to hit double-digit wins next week in Nashville when we wrap up the regular season. A lot of people had 10-2. It's just the way we got to 10-2, and it kind of sucks because nobody had Arkansas as a loss. But you take everything from today and build on it. Like Nate said, you try to fix the mistakes you had, clean that up. You take the momentum and all the positives on offense, same thing on defense, and you build on it. At this time of year, this time of the season, that's what you want to do. Continue to go out and get better. Have a good week at practice. Take it down the road to Nashville and lay it to them, and we'll see where the chips fall. And we'll watch the rest of action tonight in college football and see if we get some more help. Hey, it's not anything that couldn't happen. Us hosting a game, and there's a lot of football left to be played, and stranger things have happened. I could see, Minnesota's up pretty big right now, 22-16. So, we said it before, Notre Dame, they've got 2 tough games left. But the thing is, we have to take care of our own business. We have to, worry about the things we can control. The thing that sucks is we've left it out of our control, kind of where it lands. So, it's good. It's good when you put up a goose egg and blank a team. So, happy with this team and today, but there's still things to improve and work on. So,
let me get one last super chat here. Hold up. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just real quick, and this is nothing to deal with it. It's I just saw a lot of stuff in there about the GoFundMe, and I know you're probably going to plug it too. But man, Coach Jay loves to say football is family, and let's not let that just stop here. And if you can do something, let's do something for the family for BVD.
Yeah, that link's in the description if you want to go show them some love, man. It's like, I don't think it really hit me. It didn't really hit me until right before me and Coach Jay went live on the tailgate show, and then it hit me. And I think it was seeing like the emoji go up and seeing the love in the chat. It's like, man, there is nobody that loved Tennessee football more than BBD. And but like I said in the tailgate show, a lot of y'all knew BBD. A lot of y'all knew Big Vol Daddy. I had the opportunity to get to know Keith. And when I was around Keith, man, he talked about his daughter all the time, like all the time. Like she doesn't watch this channel. She'll never watch this channel, but it's like, man, he would always tell me, he's like, man, I wish my daughter would come around more. I wish I could spend more time with my daughter. Like he talked about his daughter all the time. So show them some love. Keep praying for that family. Again, the link's in the description if you want to go support the GoFundMe. A lot on that family as they head into Thanksgiving to Christmas. It's going to be tough, man. It's a long road ahead of them. She's young. His daughter's young, early 20s, I think. So keep praying for them. Keep praying for that family. Man, oh man. What better way than to go win a natty for BVD?
That's right.
Like, let's go win a natty for BVD. I think he'll be up there in heaven standing beside that wheelchair, grinning from ear to ear, man. Donovan for 5 says Dylan Sampson, Boo Carter, Chaz Lanier are the best 3 offensive weapons for Tennessee sports. Problem is one plays defense, the other plays what is a basketball? I don't know what is a basketball? Man, it pisses people off when I say that, especially on Twitter. Whoo! They roasted me, and I'm like, man, y'all don't understand. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. That's it. Paul Lindsay for 10. We are in a good place. It's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Smash the thumbs up. Join up, you bunch. Dang, why are you cussing at people? Be family. Love y'all. GBO. Yeah, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. We would appreciate it. Day after video coming bright and early tomorrow, then fan call-in show tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. But that is going to do it for this one. For Dauber, for Coach Jay, for good old Nate Pruitt, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call